Hey, Facebook family, what's up? Listen, have you guys been watching? I've been worrying you and sending you little alerts about I'm on CNN, I'm on CNN, tune in, check it out. So I just finished, oh, what was this? My second hit. I've got two more to go. I will be back on. I don't expect you guys to stick around for this, but I'll be back on at midnight tonight. And so I just kind of wanted to come and just chat with you guys a little bit and say what's up and see if you guys are hydrating. I am. Hey Pam, what's up, girl? Yeah, I'm a little wired right now. I'm just a little bit wired. I just had a gentleman find me because he saw me on CNN and he called me from Canada. And so that was pretty cool. He's a psychiatrist, and he's doing something, writing something, and he wants to include me, wants me to know about it, something like that. And so, I told him he was an older gentleman, and hey, Tonda, I was on a phone call because one of my old captains called me, TRM for my LAPD family. Yeah, TRM just called. And it was so funny because when I was talking to TRM, so I'm digressing a little bit because my LAPD family will understand. And for anybody who's read my book, because you guys know I talk about people that I really worked with, some of them piss me off. And I give people stupid names like Little Tink Tink, right? So my former captain, well, when I was on LAPD, he wasn't always very nice to me. And actually, um, I talk about him in my book, but I don't use his name. I refer to him as someone who has a mouth like a mega mouth shark, 7 rows of teeth. And what's funny about that is I ran into him a little while ago, and it was some years ago. I ran into him because, well, first I ran into him at my sister girl Tia Morris's retirement party, Captain Tia Morris, 30 years on LAPD, and I went to her retirement party, one of, at that time, two black female captains on the LPD. And so I went to Tia's, hey Tia, I went to Tia's retirement party and TRM was there. And so me and Tia were kind of like, we were like kiki and hee-heeing because Tia had read my book, obviously, because she's a wonderful, wonderful person and great supporter of me as I am of her. Mama's Curse is her book. Check it out. Um, so TRM was at the retirement party and we were laughing because Tia knew that I talked about him and not in a nice way in my book. And so, he was doing what he does, sliding all up, getting close, wanted to sit at the table with me. And we were laughing because I told him, I said, dude, I don't know if you want to sit with me. You might really want to, read my book before you sit with me. And so, he bought a copy that night and he has since read it and he knew that I referred to him as somebody who had, a problem with his grill. Because I said I couldn't understand how he could have a job on the LAPD when we have amazing dental benefits and not take advantage of it because he had made me mad. And so, anyway, he just called me and he wanted me to know when I ran into him a few years ago. He called me tonight to just congratulate me because we're able to talk. He's a big boy. He said he had broad shoulders and he wasn't mad that I referred to him in the way that I did in my book. But he wound up when I ran into him again at another function, Steve Crane's annual reunion hoedown that he has every day after Thanksgiving, around Thanksgiving. You guys know what I'm talking about. That go, hey, Steve. So I ran into TRM at Steve's little hoedown, and TRM wanted me to know that he got braces because I guess he got tired of looking like a damn mega mouth shark. So he just told me somebody called him, and people have been calling him regularly, asking him, do you know this Cheryl Dorsey on the LAPD? And of course, he knows me and he knows me well. I sued the LAPD because of him. Can't really talk about it because, when they make you, but when they give you money and they make you sign a stipulation, I talk about it in my book, I think ever so slightly. But again, we're friends now. And so, uh, people have been calling him and asking him if he knows me. And of course, he says, yes, he knows me proudly now. He's happy to admit that he knows me. But yeah, it's all good. He's not mad at me for suing the city because, again, it didn't cost him any money. The city paid me. I had an amazing landscape deal in my backyard, an amazing pool. Thank you, LA City and TRM. So we're cool. We're cool. And yeah. So anyway, he called me, then old boy from Canada called me. And so, tonight, you guys, you already know, right? You saw what I did. I brung it, right? I brung it. And so I'll be back on CNN at midnight. I'll be on CNN International, but I think CNN International is simulcasting on their regular CNN station at midnight. So it's midnight because they're broadcasting all over the world, and that's how I got so many invites last week. South Africa, London, New Zealand, Australia, and where else? Oh, Paris, France. France 24 is the station that interviewed me last. France 24, they are a version of BBC, kind of. That's what the lady told me. So when I get all of these links, I've received the one from the South African interview, and I did share that one with you. So when I get the others, I'll share them with you. And it's because I've been, on CNN International um, so regularly over these last few days. So again, tonight, midnight, CNN, and 2 a.m. 2 a.m. I will be on tonight or this morning, Sunday morning, 2 a.m. So that's why I was saying, I'm not going to be able to get any, I had to fortify myself early and eat. And so I am going to go and, am I going to lay down? I don't know. If I lay down, my eyes are going to be bloodshot and I don't have any Visine. So I may not lay down. I may just, damn it, I might just stay up till 2. And then tomorrow I will probably crash and burn. When I finally do go to bed, I'm gonna be like, damn, who was that? Snow White? Yeah. I'm gonna need somebody, some prince, some king, to come kiss me and wake me up. Anyway, family, clearly you would think I was tired, as silly as I am, but I'm not. I'm good right now. I am, though, a little amped because I think the last two hits that I had on CNN were really, really powerful. And, I got a chance to say some stuff that, I hadn't said before. And so, particularly to speak on oh yeah, Pam. Yeah, I had to get that story in because I've been dealing with my sister girl Carrie Horn from Buffalo Police Department, and so I've known Carrie for a while, and I was trying to think of a way, and when I realized that these officers were from Buffalo that were cutting up, I was like, this is a perfect opportunity for me to speak on Carrie story. And so Pam, you said her eyes, I couldn't see her as I'm talking to her. I'm looking at a blank screen because we're doing this remotely. So I did record it on my TV. So I'm going to slide in there and take a look and see what her facial expressions were when I said that. But yeah, so let me just tell you the backstory real quick on Carrie Horn. So Carrie Horn, Horne, her first name is Cariol. You can Google her story. In 2008, she was working with this white officer named Greg Kayakowski. And Greg Kayakowski wound up punching a prisoner that they had just, a guy, a suspect. They responded to a domestic violence call. And the guy was in handcuffs, and Greg sucker punched him, Kayakowski. He sucker punched him. And so Carrie said, hey, dude, what's up? Right? Good cop, speaking up. Bad cop, Greg Kayakowski, punches her in the face. And I don't know if he broke a bone or broke her nose or something he did. And of course, there was a lot of brouhaha about that. And I'm sure Carrie complained at the time. And you want to know what happened in 2008? Carrie Holloman Horn was fired from the Buffalo Police Department. And she has been trying to bring attention to her situation. And she's been a few places. They've talked about it, they've featured her story here, there, and everywhere. But she was fired and she had about 19 years on the job. no pension. She didn't make it to the 20-year mark. And so she had been fighting and is still trying to somehow see if she can't get her pension, just get reinstated for 6 months, a year, whatever the hell they need to do on paper and give her pension. And they haven't done that. So Greg Kayakowski, he lived to offend again. He went on and promoted to lieutenant. And during that time, he continued to still beat folks up and assault people under the color of authority. And eventually, he was sent to prison, federal prison. I think he did about 4 months in federal prison for civil rights violations for excessive force. But he had been on the job at that point long enough where he was able to get his pension. So even though he went to prison and was able to, get his pension, even though he had been the subject of many complaints and several lawsuits being settled, Carrie didn't really get the love because, she didn't have the pale privilege. So she has been, trying to bring attention. And when I've been able to, we've had some conversations. Some of you may have even seen her on my timeline just last week where she said, that she was kind of having a rough time of it. And we had a real heart to heart. And I gave her some ideas about, what she might do to try to get her story out there and create a platform for herself like I have done. And so tonight was a perfect opportunity. And as soon as I got off CNN, I called her and I was like, "Sister girl, I mentioned you on CNN and everything that had happened with you, and I hope that this will be helpful." And she was saying that she was too also getting phone calls from people who know her, and said, that I mentioned her name and I mentioned her situation. So I don't know if Carriole is going to be able to get her pension, but you can imagine losing the ability to take care of yourself and your family. She's a mother, she's a grandmother. She did get another job for a little while, but it wasn't being a police officer, and she didn't enjoy the same income and just all of the trickle effects that go along with that, with losing your ability to take care of yourself. Sometimes it affects where you live or where you can't live anymore. So it's a thing. And I just wanted to, since I had an opportunity to slip that in, to mention Carriole. So, hey, Dwayne, I've been right here, dude. Where you been? Talking about where have I been? I've been right here. Um, so anyway, so I was able to mention that story because, like I said, Buffalo, New York Police Department has a history of foolishness. And I mentioned very briefly, and I'll just say it again right now to you. These 57 officers who were part of the emergency response team, that was the group of cowards that shoved a frail, fragile 75-year-old demonstrator to the ground. This man fell down, hit the back of his head. By now, many of you may have seen it. And he could very easily die. He's in critical condition. And he may not die today, but he could certainly, I pray that he doesn't. Those officers better be praying that he doesn't, but he could certainly have some complications in the next 2, 3 weeks that could cause him to lose his life. And so the 57 jackasses who were part of that unit that worked with him in protest, they all quit. So I'm saying anybody who know the 57 from the ERT, if any one of those had a hair on their ass, if I could say it like that, don't quit ERT. Don't sugar free. Quit. If you really about that life, if you feel real strongly about it, if you're principled, 57 from the Buffalo, New York ERT team, the 57 of you who quit the unit, they quit the unit, but they kept their job. You guys got a hair on your ass, quit. Just quit. Somebody let me know. Somebody let me know. Anyway, so yeah, so that's that. It's a thing. I talked about stick time, and that got me a lot of attention. That's why CNN is keeping me up all night tonight, because I mentioned stick time and they were like, "Stick time? What's that?" My LAPD family knows what stick time is, and so I'll tell you guys if you haven't heard me say it before and you don't know what it is. So when we used to be engaged in civil disobedience protests and the like, the riots. And every year in LA, they have something called May Day, which is downtown LA, and there's protests every year. And so, I know for a fact because I heard folks talking in the hallways and in the stations. where they just say that old stupid shit because ain't nobody, from the street there to hear. And there are a contingency of folks who live for protests, just like there are knuckleheads who embed themselves with the peaceful protesters and wreak havoc and destroy property. There are police officers who live for protests so they can get in some stick time. And that means beat and release. That's another term, beat and release, right? So normally, if we get involved in the use of force, there's paperwork. We got to call a sergeant. Sergeant got to call a watch commander. Watch commander got to call a patrol captain. Everybody got to know when you beat somebody up, unless you're in the midst of a protest. Stick time. You just get out there and, there's another saying, take ass or no, kick ass and take names. Kick ass and take names. Well, you don't have to take no names during a protest. You just kick ass, stick time. And so there's officers that are here for that. And we've seen them. We saw them in Buffalo. We saw them. We saw the. Did you see that damn egg with legs over in Philly? The inspector. He's actually a command staff officer. You saw the little dinner roll out there trying to beat people up with his little baton. Well, he's in some hot water because he's command staff, and he's out there showing his officers how to get her done. So doesn't matter the rank. I said earlier in my earlier hit, the fit fish rots from the head. And if you've got your inspector, but I don't know what an inspector is out there, I don't know if that's like one of our captains or if it's a damn deputy chief, I don't know. But you got the inspector out there putting in work. His big ass. And he had to hit him with the stick. I wish one of them would have just turned around. He looked like a damn bell pepper. All I had to do was just hit him in his damn stem. And he'd have went right down. But he was Billy Badass because he had all his little minion around him. And he's out there wailing on people with this stick. And so I said this when I was on CNN, and I'm going to say it right now because I'm going to share it with my subbies. If you guys know anybody who was the victim of stick time, those who are out there putting in work, get a good attorney. Get a good attorney, get you a mansion and a yacht. Because listen, at some point, whoever is responsible for these payouts, they're going to get sick of these police departments. And I know some of it is taxpayer money, and maybe some of these agencies, maybe some of these cities could go bankrupt if they get enough folks filing lawsuits because of excessive force. And we know excessive force is happening all over the nation because we're seeing it televised. So if you know anybody who, was the victim of that BS, tell them to get a good attorney. Okay, Pam. So you said his condition has been downgraded. Oh, okay. You said, but brain injuries can progress sometimes. Okay, yeah. I hope the old guy will be good, and we'll see. Because listen, he could have a relapse, right? I mean, something could happen next month or whatever. But Tony, you said you got a chance to see it. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. Daryl, thank you, thank you, thank you. Tanda, you said Humpty Dumpty. Yeah, I call him a damn egg with legs. That's what he looked like. A coward, a coward. And he's out there beating up. And I think the last person that he knocked and jumped on was a girl. Just a coward. So anyway, if you're out there protesting and you're protesting peacefully and you are the victim of contempt of cop, right? You've heard me talk about that. Don't fight back. Just do like that Mexican did over in Richard Castillo over in East LA. Just take that ass whipping like a champ. Mr. Castillo took that ass whipping and is now in the midst of a civil suit, and he probably won't have to worry about sleeping in that church or that whatever that vacant building was he was sleeping in anymore. Because Hollenbeck Division is going to give him the homie hookup. So you guys are out there, be careful. It sounds like, cities are starting to lift the, what's the word I'm trying to say? The stay at home, the restrictions, whatever, whatever. So this is probably going to go on for a little while. Hey, Sheila, what's up? This is probably going to be going on for a while. And I want it to go on. I want the protest to continue right through November because little Tink Tink, his ass is locked up. He's down in the damn bunker, and his punk ass talking about I wasn't in the bunker. I just went to go inspect it because that's what That's what you would have the president of the United States do. He's the one who goes down there and inspects the bunker. Dude, bye. That's what the civil service officers would do if it needed to be inspected. But we already know because they said, not civil service, secret police. What am I saying? Secret service. Secret service. They would be the ones to go down there and make sure the fucking lights are working and the air conditioning is just right. Not him. So I guess him and his damn spawn and the first thought are all hunkered down there together because we haven't seen him. He's only been tweeting, from his little hideaway, squirreled away. So yeah. Anyway, I hope they don't ask me any more about him and being down there because if they ask me, I gotta tell the truth, right? All right, family. I just wanted to come and just say what's up, and I'm really excited because, as you can see, I think this thing may be a little slow, but my picture is amazing. You must admit, right? My picture is amazing. Yeah. So Facebook has a new look. I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but I did on my Facebook page. When I came on today, it was black. I was like, what the hell? And so then I found the little button that said take it off of dark and now it's back regular. So are you guys all part of this new change on Facebook with the look, or are they rolling it out slowly? I'm just curious. But I'm glad at least my camera is now able to talk to Facebook, even though there seems to be a bit of a drag. Maybe I'm talking too fast. I don't know. Daryl, you said he put a he put a fence around a fence. He's a scary ass. When I think about him, the thing that I keep in my mind is if you guys remember when he was on the campaign trail and that young white guy jumped up on one of the stages that he was on, and then a little tink tink, he jumped in the arms of the Secret Service. He jumped in the arms just like a bitch. Like a baby. The Secret Service agent was holding him like he was just a precious little bundle. But he wants everybody to think he's such a bad guy. He saunters and sashays around until somebody get up on that stage with him or until somebody act like they gonna come over one of them 15 fences he done had them erect. And then once you jump off 15 of them, you're gonna have to go 6 stories underground to get to his ass because he's down there. I just see him down in there with a whole table full of damn Big Macs, just shoving, two-fisted shoving in his mouth. Remember that scene from I Love Lucy? I was a latchkey kid, so I watched a lot of TV. But remember that time when Lucy and Ethel were working in the candy store, and they were supposed to be taking candy off the conveyor belt, and then, and the conveyor belt kept getting faster and faster, so they couldn't take the candy off and put it in the box. So they started shoving it in their mouth, and they were shoving it in the pockets on their dresses. And Lucy took candy and put it in her hat, and then she put it back on her head. That's what I picture little Ting Ting doing down there in the bunker. He's down there with a damn conveyor belt full of burgers. And the first thought is over there turning the switch on and off to regulate how quickly the burgers come to his fat ass. That's what I think he's down there doing. So anyway, that brings me pleasure thinking of that. Don't judge me, family. Don't judge me. I am now going to go because I'm going to see if I can maybe just get a little cat nap. I got 3 hours till my next hit. So I'm going to see if I can calm down. Maybe I'll have some chamomile tea or light my lavender candles so that I can relax. And then I'll see you good people next time. Until then, be good. Be safe.